Hello to everybody who's here live and everyone who's watching the recording right now. My name is Alan David. I'm one of the outreach specialists at Chabot College, and I have my colleagues here. You mind introducing yourselves?
Sure. My name is Jerome Manos. I'm the athletic counselor.
My name is Sandra Genera. I am the Puente project counselor and coordinator.
Great. Thank you, Jerome and Sandra.
Mhm.
They'll be speaking more about their programs right after this little introduction. So please, students, if you haven't applied for SOAR for 2022, fall or summer, please apply soon. If you need some help, there'll be links in this video. And also you could contact me, and I'm gonna have my contact also on this video. But we'll have Jerome talking about student athletes right now and the types of supports he has for them. I'm gonna be presenting here or playing the presentation. So Jerome, just let me know when to move forward.
Sure. All right. Yeah, go for it. If you don't mind putting up the slide. Thank you.
Do you see it right now?
Yep.
Okay, let me actually get it in presentation mode. Here it is.
Cool. Thank you. Okay. So yeah, good. There we go. So like Alan said, I'm like I introduced myself, I'm the athletic counselor here on campus. I've been at Chabot now since 2014. And obviously we're real excited about our athletic program and the success we have. And so for those that are interested in athletics, I'm just going to briefly go through this slide. I'm not going to read it verbatim, but just want to give you guys an idea of the sports we offer, some of the requirements for eligibility, and then talk at the end about the student support services that we offer and that we have that have been very successful for our athletes over the last several years. So go ahead and go to the next slide, please, Alan. Cool. So for those of you guys in the room that are interested in participating in athletics, these are the list of sports that we offer here on campus in the fall, really similar to high school. In the fall, you can see we offer cross country, football, soccer, and wrestling, and then in men's and women's soccer, both. Okay. And then in the winter, it's just two sports. We offer men's and women's basketball. And in the spring, which is our busiest season, it's baseball, softball, swimming, tennis, track and field. And obviously swimming, tennis, and track are men's and women's sports. Okay. Currently, we have about 400 student athletes. And we feel we do a really good job bringing new. One of the things that COVID has set us back in many ways, but one of the things that we felt has been consistent over the last 2 years is that there are still athletes coming through our programs, which is good. The numbers are a little bit down, but generally we operate with a department of about 350 to 400 student athletes. Okay, next slide, please, Alan. And Alan's helping me out, you guys, because my computer's not cooperating with me this morning. So thank you, Alan. So for you guys, for those of you guys coming in, again, a lot of these requirements are similar to what you have to do to be eligible to compete in high school. For example, the minimum GPA is a 2.0 for return athletes. If you've never played a sport before, you are automatically eligible when you come to Chabot, regardless of the sport. And I'll give you an example. So for example, if you come in the fall and you don't do so great in the fall academically, even if you are under 2.0, you will be eligible for a spring or a winter sport, since it would be your first time competing. And then the following year, that is where you're going to have to meet the academic requirements, which I'm going to go over on the next slide, please, Al. Thank you. And so the academic requirements for participation for first-year student athletes, you need to be enrolled in at least 12 total units in order to be eligible. And out of the 12, 9 of those need to be academic. So for example, if you do play a sport here on campus, I'm the one who will be doing your student ed plan. That's what the SEP means there on that bullet. I'll be completing your student ed plan. And on your ed plan, you will have at least 12 units if you're going to be participating. And out of the 12, 9 of those need to be academic. So for example, you would have English, more than likely an English class, a humanities class, something such as music or theater, religious studies, and then probably a social science, psychology, psych counseling class, a history class, something like that. And then 3 units will be from your sport. Okay. Some students obviously can handle more units. Some students take 15 or 18. And then others, hover right around 12. Everybody's, everybody's different. We understand that as counselors. And so that's why when we meet, we kind of get a feel for where you're academically, what it is you want to major in, because that can determine also the number of units you take. And then we kind of go for that from there in building your ed plan. But at the very minimum, in order to be eligible, it's 12 units with 9 of those being academic. Okay. And then the next bullet is really important. And this is where it's our job as an athletic department to keep you guys eligible as counselors, our athletic director, everybody, even your coaches. We always say they're an extension of the counseling department because they see you guys more than I do. And they are constantly reminding you guys, hey, go to class, make sure you're on time. We're collecting progress reports, all that kind of stuff. But this last bullet is really important. Your second season, if you come and you played football in the fall in 2022, by the year 2023, your second season in whatever sport you're playing, you need to have had past 24 units. And out of the 24, 18 of those need to be academic. And you can use summer for that. So if you fail a class in one of the semesters, or if you get a D, whatever it might be, you can definitely make that up in the summer. But 24 and 18 is what we go off for eligibility, and the 2.0. That's an important piece. Okay. Next slide, please, Alan. And then a few other eligibility requirements. Obviously, everybody needs to have a student ed plan. For fall athletes, I have to do ed plans before the October 15th deadline that the 3C2A sets for us. And for spring athletes, I have to have a student ed plan for you done by March 1st. Okay. And then there are some other forms and stuff you guys need to fill out for athletics. Next slide, please. Okay, so these are some of the things that we use here on campus to kind of help, I don't want to say keep you eligible, just to provide additional resources. As counselors, we have a ton of different resources to help with eligibility, to help with classes, to help with keeping you guys on track. The main one is DegreeWorks, which we don't have time to go over now, but it's a really, really great resource for us as counselors. It helps us build student ed plans. And it's also something that you guys have access to at home to play around with different majors, maybe if you want to earn a certificate. But it definitely supports you guys in kind of mapping out what classes to take. And that's going to be our job to work, collaboratively with you to build the student ed plan that you guys, that works best for you. We use assist.org, which is also big in building our ed plans and providing a roadmap for you guys with regards to the classes you need to take. And then it's also very helpful for incoming athletes to be familiar with the 3C2A, our Constitution and bylaws. And then obviously it's my job as a counselor to familiarize you guys with the requirements for transfer between the different divisions. So Division 1, Division 2, Division 3, and NAIA. And then also the clearinghouse website, which you guys should be using. Ask your high school counselor about that. I did put my email in the chat. I don't want to take too much time, but I did put my email in the chat. If you have a question about NC2A Clearinghouse, please send me an email and I will get you headed in the right direction, because that is also very important. Next slide, please. I'm winding down. Last couple. We also have a homepage for athletics where you can find all this information that I just talked about. There's tons of information on there with regards to the resources that we offer here on campus. One thing I will highlight, and then I'm going to turn it over to Sandra, is that, and I should have put it on the slide and Alan mentioned it, and I'm like, darn it, I forgot to include that, but I do have it on the website, is just the student support that we offer our student athletes. And I'll just give you a couple examples. In my opinion, the most important one that we've developed over the last couple of years has been our athletic cohort of classes for athletes only. We have our cohort consists of English. I teach 2 classes within the cohort. We have a health instructor. We used to do math, but we kind of figured out that students come at different levels of math, so that made it kind of hard. But I think overall right now we're looking at, I think we have about 10 classes inside our athletic cohort, which is only for athletes. Okay. The most important of those, I think, are the English classes that we offer for our student athletes. And it's similar to what you guys are doing to those who are in ROP. You work with the same teacher. And as you move from one English to the other, most of the times it's with the same group of athletes, and it's definitely with the same teacher. And we found that to be really successful with our students in regards to doing well in math and English in particular on our campus. Okay. So that's all I have. If you guys have any questions at the end of this, I'll stick around, and I'd be more than happy to answer any questions you guys might have at the end of the hour that we've delegated. Thank you, Alan, for helping me out.
Thanks, Jerome. And by the way, students, this is Jerome right here, if you could see my mouse. Because he's not able to be on the video, but just in case you see him out there, or
put a face to the name.
Yeah, put a face to the name. A very nice fella over there to support all the athletes and just any students in general. But yeah, students who said you're interested in playing sports. There was a question, what sports are you actually thinking of participating in, just so Jerome gets an idea? And that was that ROP, I think you're muted. Oh, now you're not muted.
I'm interested in playing basketball.
Okay.
Basketball, cool. So here's what I recommend you do, okay, bud? If you want to write down my email in the chat, what you can do is you can shoot me an email, and I will get you in touch with the basketball coach. I'll leave his phone number and his email for you, and I will get you guys in touch. That's the best way to do it. And I will say, this is another thing I forgot to highlight. I know Sandra is probably going to mention it, is we do have priority registration. And so if you are considering playing a sport or getting involved in Puente, you certainly want to make that decision here pretty quick, because our athletic registration happens next Thursday. Is that the 27th? Yeah. And so next Wednesday, classes are going to be opening for athletes and for those involved in other cohorts like Puente as well. And so, yes, if you're interested, please shoot me an email. I will respond to you by today and get you in touch with the coach and get you heading in the right direction.
Thank you.
Were both of you interested in basketball?
No, I'm interested in baseball.
Baseball. Same thing. Shoot me a quick email. My baseball coach is literally right across the hall from me, and I will walk over there and give him your information this morning as soon as we're done. So send it to me in the chat if you can.
Yeah, please reach out
or
to
shoot me an
Jerome.
email. Yeah, or shoot me an email. Yeah.
Yeah, when other future student athletes reach out to me, they don't know where to start, and Jerome is a great place or a great person to talk to right away. So definitely get his contact. I put it again in the chat. So if you could get it before you leave today at ROP, and contact Jerome so you could get started on getting connected with the sports coaches that you want to be working with. Okay, any other questions? Okay, so let's transition to Puente, and if you have any questions after, we'll have a little bit of the time at the end of the Sandra's Puente presentation. So Sandra, I'm going to stop sharing this, and you could go ahead and take over and start your presentation.
Thank you, Alan. And thank you, Jerome. I've had many students in Puente participate in sports. So I've had students interested in soccer and track and field who have been Puente students, both men, women, and softball especially too. And so you don't have to have a particular major to participate in Puente. Puente means bridge, and so I think of Puente bridging from the high school experience to Chabot College, and then from Chabot College to the university. It is a 2-semester program that blends writing, critical thinking, counseling, mentoring, and community service, with a curriculum that focuses on Mexican American Latinx history, authors, and issues. Puente is open to all students interested in transferring to a 4-year university with a curriculum that focuses on Mexican American Latinx history, authors, and issues. To be in Puente, if you could look in the fall 2022, we start off with English 1, psychology counseling 21 and 22. So it's 2 classes, And then we have our English study hall, English 215, and that is no units. I often help students also register for 2 other classes. Sometimes it's one class in their major and then one general education class. If you are undecided on what major to pursue, then that's okay. We'll go ahead and do 2 general education classes. We are really focusing on students who are interested in transferring to a university. Do you have an idea of what schools you want to transfer to after you attend Chabot? Gianella or Diane or the students at ROP?
No, not yet.
Yeah, I was thinking of UC Santa Barbara.
UC Santa Barbara, okay. Diane, are you a student or a representative at a campus? Okay.
She's a rep, yeah.
Okay, and so in Puente, we have students who have transferred. I have a group of students at UC Riverside, Davis, Cal State East Bay, San Jose, San Francisco, Santa Barbara. We have Puente students pretty much everywhere right now. This is our 40th anniversary. We're one of the first learning communities. We are the first learning community here at Chabot College. A learning community means that you have a dedicated counselor, a dedicated English instructor, and there's student support around you to help you succeed in college. You can go ahead and put your camera up to the QR code. It will take you directly to our website. There you will be able to complete the intake form. Once we collect your intake form, we will set you up with an appointment with the counselor, and we will go ahead and get you registered for your fall classes. With priority registration, as Mr. Manos indicated, that means you get to register before all other students. There's 14,000 students at Chabot, or 12,000 students at Chabot, with a max of 14,000. With priority registration, you get to register before all other students. And so if there's 400 athletes, there's about 200 Puente students. So there's about 200 students in the other special programs. So you definitely have a leg up especially if you're an athlete or you have other commitments. If you are working, if you have to help out your family with your younger siblings or other family members, then definitely having priority registration is going to give you the schedule that you want. To be an athlete, you usually have to have your classes done by 12:30 because you're out on the field at 1 Monday through Thursday, usually at 1 o'clock. And that doesn't include, that's for practice, and that doesn't include like games and game days. So as a counselor, we would be able to help you get the schedule that you need so that you can be able to participate in all of the required extracurriculars that you want. This is starting off at Chabot College is a great way. It doesn't matter how great or how bad you did in high school. This is a fresh start for everybody. We've had students who have never played a sport before just walk onto the field and say, I've always wanted to. This is your chance to do that. We've had students who said, I barely graduated, I hated high school, and come on to our Puente classes and they get straight A's. And so this is an opportunity to reinvent yourself, reinvent the student, the person that you want to be. We connect you with everything that you need to do, everybody that you need to be connected with so that you can succeed. We don't want to see you fail. We will not let you down. We will stay connected. We have study groups, we have study hall, we have tutors, because we want to make sure that you know why you're taking the classes, That's why we do student education plans. You have a pathway. The average amount of time students are here is 3 years. A lot of students have made it in the 2-year plan, but 3 years is about an average amount of time. That gives you time to explore, that gives you time to play around, and it gives you time to figure out what it is that you want to do when you grow up. It's not that easy to be able to say, okay, now I want to be a business person. But you take that business class, you're like, oh, I don't think that's really what I want to do. Okay, now I want to go ahead and try history. Okay, well, no, that's not exactly what I want to do either. Now I want to go ahead and try being a sociologist or psychology major, and that's okay. There's, you have to take at least 60 units while you're here at Chabot. That's half of the units needed for a bachelor's degree. And that's, we're here 30, at least 30 of those units are going to be general education classes. So you have 1, 2, maybe 3 semesters, depending on really what you want to follow, to be undecided and to be able to explore the kinds of majors in classes that are out there. And so I have, I'll go ahead and put the Puente website up on in the chat. And if you have any questions, please let me know.
Great, thank you, Sandra. Did anyone have any questions who are still on the line right now? I'll ask a question then. So, Sandra, what programs you said an athlete could be in Puente, but what situations can a student not be in multiple programs with Puente?
So our priority is students who want to transfer to a university. So if a student is really interested in doing auto technology or let's see, welding or something like that. We've had students like change their major, like they started off as business and then changed their major to auto technology or welding. A lot of our conversations throughout the year in Puente is about transferring to the university, about the experience of being at a community college and then being at the university. And so when students don't connect with, I don't want to be at a university, why do I have to go do this field trip? Why do I have to hear about this speaker experience at the university? Then it just gets a little fuzzy. But definitely any major, sometimes there are classes maybe in the STEM field, science, engineering, math, that may interfere with our scheduled or set classes, Puente classes, then that might be a time where, okay, maybe Puente is not the right program for you at the moment. Maybe let's go ahead and try the HSI MESA program. And I collaborate with all of the other counselors in the learning communities. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so for students listening and you're interested in Puente, and yeah, as you're talking to Sandra and their team over there, we can definitely reroute you if it's not a perfect fit. So don't worry about where you start, because we'll get you connected. Jerome and Sandra, could you speak about any of your students where they have transferred to after like working with you both?
Yeah, so that's a great question. We have pretty much, you guys are, I guess my answer would be very broad. I mean, we have students that go pretty much all over the country. I'll give you an example. As one of the football coaches, we sent, let's see, after the season, we have about there's 3 guys at New Mexico Highland playing football. There's a few guys in Kansas playing football. There's some that are staying a little bit closer to home and going to Arizona to just go to school. So to answer that, it's really broad, Alan. And I would say everybody's journey is a little bit different. And so yeah, we have students that go pretty much all over. We have a lot of students that that stay in California to go to school. And I think one of the things too, that you guys want to understand is our job as as counselors here on campus is to get you prepared for the UCs, the CSUs, and then also private schools, so that you guys have the options to go wherever you want to go. And it doesn't always work out that way. We're not promising that you're guaranteed to get into the school you applied for, right? But I feel that we do the best job we can in getting you guys prepared to transfer to schools all across the country. So in athletics, we have student athletes that really move on and are playing sports at all different parts of the country.
And I've seen Mr. Manos really look at, or Jerome, help students getting their NC2A profile uploaded and ready for you to continue playing sports at the university you transfer to. There have also been situations where students don't continue to play sports after they've played at Chabot, and that's okay as well, right?
Yeah.
How about you, Sandra? I know you mentioned some of your connections at other colleges, but where are the recent colleges that some of your students transferred to?
Like I said, we have this past year, so this coming year, this year now, I have a group of students at UC Berkeley. And so there's 5 students at UC Berkeley this year from Puente. One of them was on the track field. They're all different majors, sociology, ethnic studies. One was communications. And so, but they've all political science, but they've all, I've set up connections. We're going to be visiting Cal State East Bay this Friday, and we're getting set up to do a warm handoff. I have the incoming, the new students this year that joined Puente, but I also have students from last year that are ready to transfer now. And so they've already been accepted to Cal State East Bay. And those are 12 students now that have been accepted to Cal State East Bay. They still don't all know if they want to go to Cal State East Bay. So this field trip is coming up at a good time, so it can help them make their decision. They're still waiting on some of the other schools, Santa Barbara, Davis, Santa Cruz, Riverside are some of the other schools that the students are waiting on. But I have pretty much students, Puente students at all of the UCs at least. And then I have a couple of students, at East Bay and San Jose and San Francisco are UCs.
All over too.
Mm-hmm.
So, Sandra, this question has been coming up for me as I help students. I know your first semester, they take English 1A as part of their package, right? What if a student took AP English at one of the schools? Because that has happened, but they want to still be in Puente.
So then they have to make a decision. Do they want to, there's 2 options. They can either skip being in Puente in the fall semester, because then we'll offer English 4A in the spring semester. So they'll take 12 units or units in the fall semester that does not include English, wait, and join Puente in the spring semester. Or they can go ahead and retake English 1 in the fall semester so that they can have the full experience of Puente. I've had students who were not in a Puente program, because most of our local high schools have a Puente program in their high school. So if they participated in Puente in high school, they most likely took an AP test, because Puente in high school is getting them ready to just go directly to a university. But for maybe whatever reason, they ended up not going to the university and they start at Chabot. And those are the 2 options that I give those students, is that they can either go ahead and suck it up and take the English 1, retake the English 1 with Puente at Chabot, and be in the full year of Puente, or just wait, take other classes. I can recommend other classes for the fall semester, and then they could join Puente English in the spring.
Just another reason to meet with Sandra early so you
Mhm.
could figure out what's your plan if that's your situation. One last question, Jerome, how about students who want to do multiple sports? What's their situation look like?
That's a good question. It can be a little bit difficult, especially in college, because college is the time where most student athletes focus on one sport. So it doesn't happen too frequently. But generally it would have to be a sport like that doesn't cross, they don't cross paths. So we've had students do, for example, football and basketball. We've had some students do football and baseball. We've had, some students do volleyball and sport like softball because they're different seasons. So it certainly can be done. It's not very common at the college level, but it can be done. Again, you just have to make sure they're not in the same season. That's the main thing.
Right on. Thank you, Jerome. I want to give the students another last chance in case you had a question. Is there any questions for anyone there?
Yes, I got a question. So I would be able to play basketball and do track?
That's correct. Now, just so you know, basketball season and track kind of overlap. So you may miss, while you're finishing out your basketball season, you may miss a couple, track meets, but you can certainly do those two sports. Yes.
Thank you.
Cool. Any other questions for folks on the line? Okay. So if anyone has questions, in the chat is a bunch of our contacts. We could drop it again for you all, and for everyone that are recording, I will have the contacts in the YouTube description. So, but yes, we want to thank everybody for joining today. Thank you, Jerome. Thank you, Sandra, for sharing, your programs with the students live here on the Zoom call, but also for folks who are watching on the recording. Again, everybody, these are great programs to be plugging into. So if you're interested in any one of them, please reach out to Jerome and Sandra right away so we can get you plugged in and get you with a student educational plan. And if you're not sure and you have questions, you could feel free to reach out to me. My contact will also be available to you all. But thanks for everyone joining today. And we hope to see you at Chabot soon.
Thanks,
Take care,
Alan.
everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.